and talking about the NY22. The Republican primary is coming up a week from today. Hard to believe we're already there, but we are. And, John, it looks like it's a dead heat.
That's what I'm seeing, too. A couple of private polls show it a dead heat. With Claudia Tenney, of course, doing well where she needs to. Her area up here in the north, including part of Madison County. Wells is leading in Madison, Shenango, and Broome and Tioga. There are a couple of things, though. One is that Phillips, in the poll that I saw, is around 13%, which wasn't expected. And then there are 21% still undecided at this stage.
What is
that?
Amount. What is that? Okay, you say an enormous amount. I thought that even where the numbers are, I found it to be very interesting that about a quarter of the people polled have not made up their mind yet.
No, that's right. Or in this instance, they may have made up their minds already. The candidates have been bashing each other, and at a certain point, there are some folks that say, well, you know what, you're both right. Neither of you were voting for.
Yeah.
And so they may very well be likely voters who are turned off, may not vote.
That might not vote. Interesting. So you're saying that that 25% might not make a difference at all. Might not even be a part of it.
May not. But that's an awful lot of undecided voters.
Yeah, it is.
Stage.
And I mean the last polling, the only polling that we know that was done was prior to just about the time that the race really started back in March. And it was a poll commissioned by Assemblywoman Tenney. It showed her way up in the lead.
Yeah.
And Stephen Wells was in single digits.
Yeah.
But, it shows you what commercials and educating the public and, negative advertising does play a role, right?
A lot of people say, oh, no, I don't pay any attention to it. And then they'll mouth the actual words in those commercials. We learned early, I don't pay any attention to toothpaste commercials, and they're humming the Crest jingle, when they go down the aisle. So it has an impact, but I think what a lot of people don't realize is that the impact that negative advertising has is less to do with telling people that they should vote for me or my candidate, and more to try to discourage people from voting for the other candidate, or to discourage them from voting at all. That's the real impact.
Now you have you've launched a new business with your sons, which is a consulting firm.
That's right.
And with your main expertise, not that you have, you have a lot of different, certainly a lot of different attributes, but you have a real focus on the millennials and how they affect. Talk about that business, and does that include political consulting and that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And so very simply within the family, oldest son Jonathan runs and owns the polling company, which is Zogby Analytics. And so what we've done is, this is now data-based, data-driven consulting. We take the data from polls and from, many sources and work with clients to kind of manage their way through a dynamic world, changing demographics, and other changes and their impact on schools, on health, and so on. And yes, we have a few political candidates, and with those political candidates, we are doing polling with Zogby Analytics, and then we handle the day-to-day strategies. With private sector clients, it's helping them write strategic plans, mindful of the fact that their customer base may be changing, or their competition may be changing.
Are you representing, or is are any of the congressional candidates in this race, either the Republican primary or beyond, are any of them utilizing your services?
Yeah, they are. And to be very honest with you, I'm working with my very good friend Martin Babinec.
Okay, Martin Babnick from Little Falls, who interestingly is. What do you think about? Obviously, you are working with him, so it would be somewhat tempered. But at the same time, this seems to be, if ever a year for a third-party candidate, this does seem to be the year.
Well, that's it. This is the year for a third-party candidate. So look at you have a Republican primary with 25% undecided.
Yeah.
So those are Republican-leaning people who have not found anybody to vote for in a three-way race, mind you. And so I suspect that with a Democrat in the race, Kim Myers, who is from the Binghamton area, there are folks up here that don't know her. There's a ready-made potential for support there. But this is a year when the two political parties, their brands have been hurt. In the Republican instance, that brand may, be really short-lived.
Yeah. On Kim Myers, the Democrat, who we've heard very little about. I mean, we've not been able to even interview her, although you've tried, Andrew.
Come close a few times.
Okay. Come close a few times.
It's like Bigfoot,
It's about, we thought we saw him. With us, it's always saw him running through the woods. But I am hearing, and I don't know, I haven't been able to get much information on her, that she does lean quite a ways to the left. Now, again, I don't know that that's true, but that's what people are saying, and sometimes that could just be, political posturing. But if that is the case, it's pretty tough to win in this district if you really kind of have to be moderate. Do you agree with that?
Well, that's how the district has been defined.
Yeah.
It's been that way. Donald Mitchell was not a raving lunatic, one side or the other. Sherry Bollard, of course, was the moderate Republican, and Mike Arcuri was a blue dog Democrat, more conservative Democrat. Richard had his own brand as an independent. That is the essence of this district, and that's why, aside from the character of the man and the accomplishments of Martin Babinec, I think the fact that he's going into a race without a predilection one way or another, but just simply saying good leadership and I have created jobs and I'm going to create more. I think it could very well work for him in this this district.
We certainly have never seen a third-party candidate who is self-funded the way this guy is. And in a year like this, I mean, this is something we've really never seen before. And if there was ever a year, this could be the year. So interesting. John Zogby, as always, at Zogby Analytics. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Quick break. We'll come right back. Kamara Clifton on the news yesterday came out of the Trump campaign. She's from Fox News. And yesterday, of course, Lewandowski fired by the Trump team. We'll get into that one when we come right back here in 2 minutes on WIBX.